What's up, everybody? It's your boy Devon Taylor here, aka Deezus, and this is my podcast, Deezus Take the Reel. No, this is not a religious podcast. It's a podcast where we're talking movies, we're talking life, we're talking all sorts of crazy shit. And today, I am still out in sunny California, and I have the need for speed. Actually, not. The train takes a long time to get out here, but I have a very special guest. We're going to talk some very fun movies. Speaking of movies is in your name because that's how much this guest loves her movies. It is, you may know her as Miss Movies, you may know her as Brianne Chandler, but that is the guest today. Welcome to the show, Miss Movies.
Miss Movies is my name. It's been my name since 2004, believe it or not. Self-ordained. But,
hey,
you know.
No, mine is self-ordained as well.
Okay.
And like I said, but I like that you have a reason for yours because, like, I see so many people on Twitter who literally just put their name, I am blank the movie guy. I am blank the movie girl. No, you're not. No, you're not. I've seen Mr. Movies. I've seen Man Movie, Movie Man. We've seen it all. Movie Mance, but
sure.
I mean, his also makes a lot of sense. But yours, explain the name for people.
Well, it's changed over the years. I will say that. So originally, I started in 2004. I started a website called Hit or Miss Movies. It was just a blog, and I would just review movies. And after a while, I was like, I should just be Miss Movies because that makes sense. It's a play on words, Hit or Miss Movies. And then later, I realized, no, it's because I miss movies now because I have two kids and I don't have time to get to the theater. And it works out well because when people say, oh, you should be stripped of your name, Miss Movies, because you didn't like this or because you don't know that movie. And I'm like, but you understand that my name is Miss Movies because I miss them, right?
So it's for the movies you've missed. But yeah, it makes a lot of sense. I mean, obviously, Deezus Take the Reel. I got the double pun in there. So, I mean, obviously, I can appreciate a good play on words. And it was kind of inspiration for me taking up a host name, if you will, as well. So yes, speaking of which, so, you know, I've been keeping up with you for a little bit. And, you know, I have a good idea of who you are. But the introduction of the show, who the hell are you? Oh, wait. Before we even get into that, I didn't even introduce the show properly. This is Deezus Take the Reel, guys. If you didn't know already, Deezus Take the Reel, it's a talk show of sorts. We are going to play some games, we're going to talk some movies, and then we're going to tell some stories, and we're just going to have some fun, weird conversations. But like I said, the first segment of the show is, who the hell are you? Because like I said, I keep up with you on a day-to-day basis. I know all the fun things that you do and where you're known from. Maybe not everybody else does. So I'll give you a chance to explain to people, who the hell are you?
Who the hell am I? That's a great question. Basically, just a girl that loves movies. Like I said, I started a website 2004 and just blogged about movies. In 2007, I was asked to be on a podcast called The Film Vault as a special. I had a segment that I would do for them every so often called Red Light, Green Light, where I would pitch them films in development. This was kind of like right when podcasting kind of got started. 2010, we were picked up by the Adam Carolla Network, and I was with them for over a year and started my own podcast from there, had kids, you know, all that good stuff. And then
and so now you're like
everything
like
collapsed.
Stella back in the groove the past few years, because now
right.
you're getting back into it and you're making a name for yourself. And the social media aspect, you got a nice little following. It's like people underestimate the social media game, and you know, all the stuff you do schmodown wise and whatnot. So
right, you can find me there. Sometimes you can find me on Screen Junkies. Just depends on the day.
You never know. You never know. That's just kind of how it works around here in LA. I figured out, because it's just like, okay, now I gotta be here, and then I'm gonna be over here as well.
Right.
So,
here, there, everywhere. It's a Dr. Seuss book.
I was back and forth between Burbank and Beverly Hills yesterday, like twice, and I was
that
just
sounds awful.
It was awful. It was. It's been a journey while I've been out here, because like I opted out of the renting a car option because you know I was trying to save money. I am still a broke bitch out here, but because it's not impossible. It's not, like, it's pretty easy once you get the public stuff down, but it's like it obviously would make things way easier. Yeah, if I would have, but. It's been nice. My calves are huge right now from all the walking and whatnot. So
Walking in LA makes me think of that song. Walking in LA.
Mm-hmm. That's literally all I've been doing. I've been just walking, put music on. That should have just been my theme song.
So Baby Walker is
Baby
who you
Walker.
are.
Yes, I have been Baby Walker out here out in LA. That's why I need to just change my Twitter handle to. But then I couldn't throw the D's pun in there, so
yes.
that wouldn't work. But yes, Baby Walker out here. That I'm gonna pitch that movie. I'll send it to Edgar, see what he thinks.
Yeah. Why not?
He's aware of my tattoo, so I say we're friends now. Yeah.
What is your tattoo? Because I don't know.
And for podcast people that can't see sounds, but I have a Scott Pilgrim tattoo over here, a Ramona Flowers tattoo.
Cute.
And whenever me and Alicia recorded, she saw it and she's like, "Oh my God, it's amazing! I'm gonna text it to him." I was like, "Oh yeah, just text Edgar Wright." Like she said so nonchalantly. I was like, "Oh yeah, Edgar, So yeah, we're pals now. But to go ahead, we're going to get into this game portion while we're talking about cars and driving already. Are you a car person, Miss Movies?
Am I a car person is a great question. I'm not, but I am by marriage. So my husband works on cars.
I am also not a car person.
Okay.
I am not the manliest man out there. I don't even know how to do my oil properly. I don't know much about cars, but what I do know, I know about movie cars. And since we're talking Cars 3 today, the Cars universe has always been a perplexing subject among film people that like dig into this stuff way too deeply, trying to figure out what happened to humans, what happened to the cars, how do they work, do they have...
all the lore.
Yeah, there's a big lore, and Cars 3 even opened up more questions. I was just like, oh my God, this is crazy. So, but in the world of cars though, I want you to take me through if you were in the world of cars. No matter how that happened, I don't know if you went extinct or if they murdered you or some mad scientist turned you into a car. But for some reason, you're in the Cars universe now. And I want you to tell me what your car looks like. What kind of car? If you were a car in the car universe, what car would you be? What would you look like?
Oh gosh, what car would I be? I would probably be the Ferrari from Ferris Bueller's Day Off, maybe, or possibly a V8 Interceptor from the Mad Max, the Road Warrior. Those two come to mind, but probably more the Ferrari because it's red. And I like that color.
Is that your favorite color?
Yes.
Red. Okay.
Red Ferrari. Yeah. Does that automatically make me like a stuck-up bitch in that world?
Is that are you talking, because you said from Ferris Bueller, that's an old school Ferrari though, right?
Yes,
so I mean, that's a little bit older. It has a little bit more taste to it. So I wouldn't say you'd be like
classy lady.
Yeah, you'd be a little bit more classy because I mean, if you're talking Ferris Bueller Ferrari, that's what, 86, 87, something like that. So no, that's a classier car. Okay, I dig it. Convertible
and
or non-convertible?
Limited edition. It has to be convertible, I believe. I don't even know if they had it. No, did they have a top on that?
No,
I don't think so. I think it comes without one. I'm not sure. I don't really know too much about that car. I just know that I liked it and it was red. And I was sad when it died. I
will not go with the cheat answer, which would be the Batmobile, because that's the obvious answer if I could be a car in the Cars universe. Fun fact, they almost did a Batmobile cameo in the Cars 3, but they didn't. I'm mad that they pussied out.
Well,
it must be it would be a rights thing.
DC property. Yeah,
it would be a rights
that wouldn't
thing.
work.
I think the way they pitched it though, I don't think they were gonna call it the Batmobile
just
or
make
anything.
It
was just
like
gonna kind of be there and look like a Batmobile, which would have been funny. I think they should have did it anyways, but whatever.
Maybe it could have been in that derby that they go to, that roller derby.
That would have been
dirt derby.
Yeah, that would have been great. So for me, I want something a little slick, something a little cool, but not too flashy though. So I would go I'd be like an all black 350Z, maybe.
I don't know what a 350Z is.
It's just a little. It looks like a luxury car and a sports car mixed.
Okay.
So it's it looks kind of classy, but at the same time, it's got some good get up and go on it, and people tend to soup them up to race them and things like that. If you saw one, you'd know it. It has a weird rounded front.
Okay, who makes it?
Smaller. Nissan.
Okay.
Nissan 350Z.
Got it. You know what I was just thinking? I feel like maybe I should be a Tesla instead, because then it's electric, and then you just then you surpass when there's a gas crisis or oil crisis necessarily.
Which is covered in the Cars 3 with these newer cars. I mean, or if you want to be the standard Californian, a Prius. I see.
Right. Oh my gosh, they're everywhere.
I see more Priuses out here than I've seen ever just in my life. Like, there are so many Priuses. I haven't even been on the road that much on this, like on the actual like highway or anything since I've been out here.
Out here, we definitely have a crap ton of Priuses. I didn't really notice it until they made that joke in La La Land, and then I started counting how many I would see on my way to hosting class, which is like about 8 miles away. And I was just like, oh my gosh, they're more than any other car.
Yeah,
more than any other car. I was like, I am surrounded by Priuses.
It was one of the first things I noticed, and this was like a year and a half ago. Like the very first time I came out, it was like the first thing I noticed, just Priuses everywhere. So. But so we got a nice classy red 86 Ferrari over here, and then I'd be all blacked out because that's half the clothes I wear anyways. Black, like tinted windows, black rims. It's got to have a good stereo system too. Right. I mean, music is very important in the car. So yeah, that would be what we'd look like in the Cars universe. Would your eyes, like, do you want like the eyes like on the lights, or are they just all on the windshield now? Yeah. I feel like it's so weird. Like, I feel like it is kind of weird thing.
But then you see that one car in this, I think is the second movie that has have you seen the second movie?
I have.
Okay. That has the lights as the eyes, and they're like, oh no, they like move away real quickly.
Yeah.
And they're frightened.
And then they never really explained how Lightning gets lights finally, because remember, he just had stickers in the first one.
Right.
They never really explained, like, did they give him some morbid surgery to give him lights?
That's a great question.
See,
but
exactly.
At the same time,
that's the rabbit holes you start getting into when you start talking the Cars
You do.
movies.
I'm assuming maybe there's a deleted scene, but at the same time, like, is it necessary?
Do I want to know? Not really, but I kind of do. I kind of do.
Well, maybe it was after his crash. Because he has that big crash,
he
and then they're like,
repairs.
you know what? Let's just. We're already down there. We're already working on this. That's kind of how I feel sometimes.
Oh my God! What if they sell them parts like plastic surgeons sell people parts here? Oh my God!
While I'm down there, why don't I just do this too?
Yes. Before we get into too deep of a rabbit hole into Cars, because that's inevitably going to be half the conversation. Got some housekeeping things before we get into the movies. First and foremost, guys, make sure you guys get those iTunes reviews in. 5-star iTunes reviews help the show out big time. They get us on the charts, let people know that we're here, and get other people listen. And also, you know, who doesn't like a good old ego boost in the morning? You wake up, you make a cup of coffee, you Google yourself, and you read. People say nice things about you. So, I mean, yeah, I enjoy that as well. So get those 5-star iTunes reviews in, and they will be read on the D's and T Money Show, which is every other Friday. So make sure you guys are doing that and subscribing, because there you go. You get 2 podcasts within one for the low price of free. But speaking of money, though, what isn't free is this podcasting stuff. Whew. Check out the Patreon campaign, guys. Patreon.com/Deezus Take the Reel. $1 a month can help make the show bigger, better, faster, stronger. More segments, more prizes, giveaways, all that kind of stuff. So make sure you guys are checking that out, and you get some perks for it too. You get some exclusive content or monthly Skype sessions. And then last but not least, I mentioned giveaway, because Deezus Take the Reel is doing a giveaway currently through the end of the month. All you have to do to enter, it's a secret mystery prize. There's two prizes. One of them is something that'll be given, and then one of them will be a handmade thing. So you get some special stuff. So if you enter this giveaway, literally all you have to do is subscribe to the show, screenshot it, and DM that to the Deezus Take the Reel Twitter page with your favorite movie, and that enters you into the giveaway. I will choose a winner sometime towards the end of the month. But yeah, so make sure you guys get on all of that. But now that I'm done asking for attention and money and other things like that, we're going to talk some movies, because that's what I came here to do. This is the bulk of the show where we talk the movies, and Miss Movies picked Cars 3. We're talking about some recent movies that both happen to be about driving. So why'd you pick Cars 3?
I picked Cars 3 because first of all, I felt there was a very good message to it, and I didn't realize that until about the end. And I realized, this is a movie about the female car. Like, you kind of get that little nod to it's not really about lightning. I mean, it is. But it's about her and her journey to go from a trainer to being able to race with all of the men. And I find that this kind of mirrors what I do right now in terms of like trivia shows, which will not be mentioned by name. But like it's a female with a bunch of men and feeling like I'm coming into a world that I'm not invited to. Not necessarily saying that no one is inviting or nice,
yes.
But
no, just generally speaking, in this
feel.
world, it is, definitely dominated by guys.
Right. In the movie sphere. Yes.
Yeah, movie sphere.
In the movie sphere, yes.
Oh man, we sound so pretentious.
Feeling like you're not invited, but you're there anyways. There was definitely a part where Jackson Storm comes up to Cruz and says like, you can play dress up all you want, but you're never going to be one of us. And I was like, gosh, I actually do play dress up. And I don't feel like I'm one of them still, like, and maybe I do that because I'm uncomfortable just being myself, or I have to do something, not necessarily to get attention, but to be different. Yeah. I mean, it kind of goes into being a creator in general and being in this movie sphere. So I was like, you do have to, like, literally, the most successful way to be out there is you got to put yourself out there, like, first and foremost. And it's a hard thing to do, like, on the internet, But so it's like I was saying before we started recording, I went in, I wasn't planning on seeing this movie. I was going to skip it because the second one is dog shit. So the second one was terrible.
It's really bad. So I was going to skip it. And then I was like, okay, so I'm going to go see this movie. I went and saw a super late night show. I think I went and saw like a midnight show, and there was like 4 other people in there. And I'll tell you what, I had a very good time watching this movie. I think I love that they kind of went back to the roots of the first one. But yeah, like the message of just kind of self-identity in general between the two of them. Cause like you said, like she's been told her whole life that she's not a racer, and then you get told something so many times, you start to believe it.
Small or not at all is what they said to her.
Yeah.
And I was like, man, and no one tells me like not to dream big, but like, that's kind of a societal
it's just
thing.
Yeah, it's one of those things that like the more that somebody tells you something, the more you're going to start to believe it. Like the more you keep hearing it. So it's like you had that going on, and it's like I love the arc that Lightning has in this as well. With the it's a athlete trope that's been brought up in sports movies often. The guy, the old veteran that wants to keep up but can't really do it anymore, and has to kind of make that realization that it's not their time anymore, like that kind of thing, and then take on the coach aspect, the coach role. Which is, it kind of echoes back to everything that was going on in the first movie. So it was kind of cool seeing it all come full circle. And it's like the only reason I would say to still watch the second one before this is to make you appreciate this one more. Cause like, it's kind of crazy that, it's kind of crazy that it went from, Cars 1 is a solid movie. Would you say like, it's not like amazing.
Yeah,
people like it a
solid.
lot. It's a very solid movie. And then it goes down to the bottom. And then it literally comes back up, and I probably like Cars 3 more than I like Cars 1, honestly.
I like Cars 3 more than I like Cars 1, very much so. But I also appreciate that you have to get from 1 to get to 3.
You do.
But 2
I'm a
you don't need.
completist, so it's like, even if I hadn't seen 2, I still would have bared through it anyways. But, oh man, that movie is, what was that?
Yeah, I think the problem with that film was the focus on Mater, and I understand that kids love Mater, and I just didn't understand the spy aspect and why we went into that kind of thing. It would have been interesting to maybe see Mater's backstory or his family, or I don't know.
Something
I'm not
like
sure.
That, or see them become more of like a community in Radiator Springs, because like in the third movie now he's like, oh yeah, I'm so proud and I love Radiator Springs and blah blah, and it's like we skipped all that, so it's like.
Plus,
that could have been the second movie.
Did you notice in the third movie, there's like no Mater?
There is like no Mater.
Maybe that's why they're like, we have learned from our mistake. Now, there is a show that was on, I believe, Disney Channel that was kind of little interludes called Mater's Toe Tales. And they were very cute. They were like 3-minute long little movies.
And it's like, that's one of those characters that like he's good in the small doses. So yeah, that was a weird call, and it was I think it was obviously for the money, for the merchandise and stuff, because people don't realize that behind Star Wars, Cars is like the highest selling Disney merchandise right now, which kind of baffles me that, I don't know, that people are still buying so much Cars things. Yeah, they said, but behind Star Wars, because, Star Wars.
I believe that. I'm saying really to you. Oh. You really don't believe that? I totally believe that. They have Radiator Springs at Disneyland. My son is like all over Cars. All over Cars.
Yeah, I've never been to Disneyland or World, but it's like, okay. I don't, like whenever I talk to like little kids, I don't ever hear little kids just being like, oh yeah, I need more Cars toys. Like, I don't know. So it kind of shocks me a little bit, especially like for this long too, because like it's like still to this day they make like a lot of money off of Cars merchandise. So it's just interesting. That's
one other thing though. During Cars 3, I did notice, like, as an adult now I'm looking for where's the merch, and so like when he changes his look, I was like, oh, that's a new toy. That's another toy.
Yeah, that's a whole new one right there.
So I'm like, oh great.
Yeah, but it's like the movie itself though, I really enjoyed it. It had some really good feel good moments in it, where you get to see lightning going through all the training and stuff, because like I said, Cars 3 pays a lot of homages to like classic sports movies.
Yes,
I've noticed between like the different training things they do, but then I love the comedy bit the whole movie about calling Lightning an old man, like, oh, you need a nap, and he's just like, no, I don't need a nap. And like that got me like throughout the movie. Like the humor really worked.
Right.
It was a really fun movie. I just really enjoyed it. Ramirez is the name of the female car, right?
Yes, Cruz Ramirez.
Ramirez. Yeah, she was a great character. Armie Hammer doing the voice for
Jackson Storm.
Jackson Storm. I thought that was a kind of cool choice. I'm on the Armie Hammer train. It's picking up steam for me now, because I thought it was the way he like delivered like all the lines, like whenever he's like doing that like condescending voice to like Lightning, and like in the interviews, like, oh yeah, I mean, I've always looked up to Lightning. I mean, what can I say? I'm racing against my idol, and he's like so schmoozy.
Totally, so many people I know. So many people.
Yeah, he was like so schmoozy, and I was just like, ugh. But I was like, I thought that was a cool casting choice though for a voice. So yeah, overall, just I really, really like enjoyed Cars 3. And I was like thinking about the next day, and I was like, why did I like Cars 3 so much? Like, why do I want to watch Cars 3 again? There's a part I won't spoil for everybody, because this movie is still in theaters. I won't spoil it, but there's a part at the end that gave me goosebumps. You probably know what it is. We kind of chit-chat on it, but there was a part that definitely like gave me goosebumps at the end, and I was just like, yes, like this is what a feel-good sports movie does. But it was a nice return to form for the Cars franchise. Hopefully this is the last one though.
It could be. You never know. Well, and maybe it'll just be straight to streaming, but I'm sure that we'll see some more. But the hard part is with continuing the series is the voice talent, because you have Owen Wilson, Bonnie Hunt, Larry the Cable Guy, Cristela Alonso. You got a lot of big names there. So I think going forward, and I noticed who was not back was Michael Keaton as Chick Hicks, and Chick Hicks is kind of taking like a hosting sort of role, which sucked, an ESPN role, and him not providing that voice was very, to me as an adult, was like, oh man, that's too bad.
I noticed it right off the bat. I was like, that's not Keaton. I was like, that sucks. But yeah, hopefully it just, I don't know. I'm done with the Cars movies. It's sad that we got it's sad that we got 2 more Cars sequels before we got an incredible sequel that we're still a year away from. So
sure, and I wonder Hollywood. What will happen there in terms of will that have the same voice talent? Because again, you got really big people. Not Helen Hunt. Holly Hunter.
Holly Hunter.
There we go.
Yes.
I was like, there's a Hunt somewhere in there. Holly Hunter and Craig T. Nelson. Like those are big names.
Yeah, I don't know and it's like one of those ones, because by the time it comes out, it's 13 years later. Like.
I mean, it can be done. They did that with Finding Dory, so that was pretty much the same amount of time.
Yeah, I skipped that one. I didn't think it didn't seem very necessary.
It's very similar.
It didn't seem necessary to me, so I was just like, yeah, I'll skip it. But Cars 3, a very good choice, and we're keeping it relevant. We're sticking with the movies that are in theaters right now, and we're sticking with this speed theme. So we got Baby Driver. So what'd you think about Baby Driver? I saw it.
Okay. So this is where things are going to get dicey, because I wasn't that much of a fan. I thought it was okay. I didn't love it and I didn't hate it. I'm just right in the middle. There are many problems that I have with this film, in continuity in terms of characters, which really bothers me. When we're setting up a character to be this ultimate bad person, and there's like a flip, and you're like, that character would not do that. I know what part you're talking
about. And I think I can kind of justify it a little bit, but I kind of was the same way. I really enjoyed Baby Driver. It sucked because it was my most anticipated of the year, and of course, anytime that happens, it's never gonna live up to hype. That happened last year with the Neon Demon for me. It didn't, live up. Okay. So it's like expectations will always kind of do that to you. And they were high on this one because, Edgar Wright finally coming back. Yep. They even bumped up the release date a few months when it was getting good buzz and stuff. And don't get me wrong, it's a very fun movie. It's super cool. It's very stylish. I love the music. I love the chase scenes.
See, the things that you love about it, I thought were fine. Like I like the style. There's definitely top-notch stunt driving in this movie. That's not to be missed. And there's just things like their relationship, him and her relationship that didn't work for me. That's
definitely been the weakest point. I didn't.
And the way they talk so closely together, I was just like, this is not how people talk, and that's fine that you want to do it that way, but it's so blaring.
See, for Edgar Wright movies, though, I feel like Edgar Wright movies almost take place in this own almost I won't say hyper. Universe, hyper realistic, but it's just slightly not, because it isn't how people talk. You look at any of the movies that he's done, Scott Pilgrim, nobody talks to each other like that, but I love that movie.
Yeah, but I'm just saying in proximity to each other. I'm not even saying talking about the subject.
Well, because that's how they fall in love. It isn't because of common interests or anything like that.
They're
it's
sitting
just
at
the closer you
tiniest table I've ever seen in a restaurant. How can you put food on there?
And they just they're staring, and laundromat dates. They just really get the love juices flowing, but
it just didn't work for me.
And it's not, and it's not Lily James's fault either. Her character was just written kind of weak. But the motivations get really murky in this movie, especially with Baby and the first act of the movie. I wish the whole movie was that. That first act is perfect to me.
Yes.
The opening sequence is amazing. I love the walking sequence with him too, because you just get to learn some more about him. I think Baby is an interesting character. I think they did some really cool stuff and setting up this background. I love how we never even had to go into the background with him and Doc of him when he was younger and that kind of stuff. It was just you're placed in him. Here's Baby. This is what he's like. And then we just kind of go from there. I love Jamie Foxx in this as well.
Yes.
He's the other bright spot for me. But
the one thing I'll say about it that I absolutely loved was the relationship between him and his foster parent. I thought that was very charming.
Part. That's where I differentiate. I thought it was a little. I felt hokey. That was it. It was a little hokey. Yes, it was very forced. And I was just not forced, because it was sweet. It was sweet, and especially the end. Where he does form and stuff. It was very sweet, but at the same time, I'm just some of because you're literally reading it because he's deaf, so you're reading this on the screen. It's just so you're telling me you wrote that cheesy dialogue for them, and then you're putting it on the screen, and you still didn't double think hey, I could tone this down a little. It was a little hokey for me, but the movie in general, you just kind of gotta go into it and be whatever. I'm not saying it's a turn your brain off movie, because it's not.
Here's what I want to know. I want to know if the same people that are yes, Baby Driver, are the same people that were yes, La La Land. Are those the same people? Although I will say Scott Mance did say to me Baby Driver was good, not great.
Yeah.
So and I know he loves La La Land, so maybe that theory is blown now. I don't know.
I think. The only way I can connect those two dots is because Baby Driver, it's so fresh and original, and that's what's really standing out to people. So it's
here's
I think
what I
that
know.
Overall is what's getting people to the theaters and the word of mouth, because they're there's nothing, there hasn't been anything like this. There's been getaway driving movies and stuff, but not like this.
I want to know when people say, oh, it's so original, I want to know what is original about it, and I'm not saying that in a God, why are you saying that? I'm saying that in a genuine, what is original?
I mean, so I just wrote an article for Geeks and Gamers that was like kind of inspired by this. Like, you know, I mean, you can take the literal term of, you know, like, so I saw this movie and like what inspired this article. So, you know, I see this movie and then I'm thinking about it. And then I look at like all the other movies that are out. And like at the theater I was at, out of the 14 movies that were playing, only 5 of them were either not reboots, prequels, sequels, adaptation. Like only
Got
like
it.
4 of them were completely original.
So not based on a source that's already been released.
Yes, I'm talking about a completely independent property. And so you can have that aspect. But then, like I said, they also take all these tropes from these driving movies and things like that. And they do so many different things with them. And then, you know, obviously the choreography, like to the music is a big thing in the movie as well. That's, you know, it's been done a little bit, but at the same time, like this is something that's kind of new as well. So it's like
some of that felt forced to me, not all of it, but some of it did feel like, oh, we're going to play this song now because this goes with what we're doing. Rather like I felt like that came first and then the story. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, we're going to create the action scenes first, and then we're going to go back and build the story around the action scenes.
And it's like, I hate the term when people review. I hate when people say something is style over substance. I hate that. I think that's a lazy way to critique something. But at the same time, it's like, I'll say this movie, the style kind of distracts you from the meat of the movie. Because I think there's themes there with this, you know, baby being conflicted about being involved in this world. You know, because like I love all the moments where you see him, like where he sees what he's doing is putting somebody in danger and he feels bad for it. And you know, you see all that kind of stuff. So it's like, there is something to this movie. There is substance, but it's like the style and everything and all the flashiness and the fun stuff covers up a lot of the mistakes that people are willing to overlook with this movie. See, it's me, the more I think about this movie, the more I can find more problems with it. And it's like one of those. But it's like at the same time, I would love to just pop it on and just be like, oh yeah, I can just watch this again. And, you know.
I feel like if I were to watch it again, I might like it more. So I'll definitely, I'll definitely go and see it again. Maybe not in theaters, but I'll see it streaming or something like that. I would definitely watch it again. But I feel like one thing that's missing is maybe like a simple montage of different jobs he's done with his boss. You know,
like that's what I was saying earlier. It's like I kind of like that they skipped that, but at the same time, I think it would have been cool because I mean, you see how many tapes he had. You know, so it's like he's been doing this for a minute, and Kevin Spacey said since he was like 15, like he was like boosting cars when he was like 15. So I mean, this has been going on for a long time.
20.
I'd assume 23.
I don't know how old he is.
Like I mean, Ansel Elgort in real life, I think he's my age. I think he's 23.
Okay.
So I mean, somewhere in there. So he's been doing this for a minute, and it would have been interesting, and it might have made that one scene a little different from you if you got more development between them two, because I'm trying not to spoil, like I usually spoil movies on this podcast, but since these are still new movies, I'm trying not to, but I know the scene you're talking about, and I will talk about it after the podcast. Because I think I can I have a way that I explain it, but you know, so it would have been nice to get a little bit more development between them two, but yeah, definitely Deborah could have used a lot of work on her, because I even thought even though I can't remember her name right now, I know her nickname was Darling, I think, John Hamm's girlfriend.
Right.
She even had like, you know, a little bit more development, was more interesting than Deborah at times.
Right. Yeah. Definitely.
Speaking of John Hamm, I don't know how we haven't mentioned him. I love John Hamm in this. I thought that was kind of
until that one part where I was like, okay, there comes a part where
when he goes crazy,
where John Hamm, you're just like, again. All right. Okay. Again? Wait, what?
I was like, I was not expecting his character to go where it did.
Okay.
But I was happy with it though. Because I don't know, something about like people with those haircuts, and then when those haircuts get messed up, they like look really scary and creepy. Like, you ever think about that?
Sure.
Like, you know you see it around here plenty. So I don't know. I did really enjoy the movie, and it just kind of sucks. Yeah, expectations got me a little bit with it, but literally, I have on my ranked list, I have Cars 3 above Baby Driver right now. And
I mean, I put it above, but as you know, like I said, I didn't love Baby Driver, so
I have Cars 3 at number 12, and I have Baby Driver at number 13, and people are like, "What? What?"
I love it.
I'm just like, oh, you want to talk about starting some flame wars with people. Did you see Life earlier this year?
I did.
I love that movie.
Okay.
Like a lot.
Good for you.
A lot more. Yes, exactly. I loved it more than I should, more than anybody should. But see, I had an interesting case. I saw it before I saw Alien for the first time. So I didn't have the comparison that everybody was making. So I enjoyed it. And then I saw Alien, and then I said, Alien's cool. I respect it a lot. I respect
ending, though,
Alien.
I mean, I'm not going to spoil Life, but the ending, I was just like,
no.
It's way too predictable. Like, come on.
Well, see, some people didn't think it made sense because people were like, wait, how does that make sense? And it was like, 'cause Calvin is a badass and made him do it. I thought that was awesome because Calvin is like the ultimate badass. But then I was like, I enjoy Life more than Alien. Whew, that was a rough day for me. I know you know what it's like whenever you have a unpopular opinion, but that was I did it just because I was bored at work.
Sure.
I mean, it is my true opinion, but then I was like, oh man, people are gonna eat this up, and
people are
crazy. Sure as hell, of course, is sweaty nerds on the internet. You know how it goes. Mm-hmm. Yeah. But to go ahead and transition out of the movies, and we're going to get into the last segment of the show. This is story time. So like I said, we've been talking about all this driving. It's been speed themed or whatever, and we're out in LA. And LA driving is notoriously shitty. It sucks. I even did my stand-up set based off of LA driving yesterday. But so have you had any crazy like LA driving experiences or a fun ticket stories?
Well, I've never been pulled over, so I don't have any fun ticket stories so far. But I will talk about, which you probably might not hear anyone talk about. My husband is building a drift car, and this is his second drift car that he's building. This is his second drift car that is also a 5.0 Mustang. So my husband, I've been to drifting events. Mm-hmm. I haven't been in the car. I was supposed to be in the car one time with Tanner Faust, who's like my favorite drifter. And I don't really follow drifting per se or X Games because I know that Tanner Faust is big in X Games as well. I have definitely been to some drift events, and it's hot as hell every single time because they're always at the like surface of the sun for some reason.
It's all that pavement too.
Exactly. And gosh, let's see. My husband also was interviewed for the Fast and Furious Tokyo Drift. Like he was going to be on the extras, the DVD extras. And I know they interviewed like so many people, but they only selected 3 stories, and his was not one of them. So,
well, that would have been interesting.
It would have been interesting, but at the same time, like Warner Brothers came to our house and like shot all this stuff with him, and
that's cool.
It's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. So that's something different that other people might not tell you about.
Yeah, I had no idea, but that is very interesting.
His first car that he did do as a drift car, the 5.0 Mustang, the first one was bought by Samuel Hubinette, who is a big drifter as well. And a lot of these guys, I mean, I'm sure they probably were on Baby Driver or, the movie Drive, I know for sure had some of the guys that are in the drifting circles, because like there's not a lot of people that can do the stunt driving that they can do. Yeah. And it's incredible. And they're all self-taught, really.
Oh yeah, like that's definitely not something you go to drifting school for, have drifting classes. Like exactly. I mean, that's pretty much something you gotta learn on your own. Baby Driver with the crazy stunt driving. So at these drift events, are they like drift races, or are they like do they like have like ones where they like judge people on like how good they drift, or like
there's competition. So like if I remember correctly, and it could be different now because this was a long time ago. This was before kids, before I was married, and just with my boyfriend at the time, now my husband. I remember like one car would go out and show like what they want the people to do on this track. It's kind of like figure skating, if you will. And then the other car, and then it would be like time for them to start. So then 2 cars go at the same time, and they're right next to each other. One's kind of in front and one's kind of like right in back, and you get points for how well you drift into the corners, how close you come to the other car without hitting them.
Okay.
Like you get like all these crazy points. So yeah, it's insane to watch cars do what they do.
Yeah. See, I'm not a big racing fan, but really it's just NASCAR. Actually, I just don't like NASCAR.
Okay.
That's boring.
Well, NASCAR is
but
hard because they're just going
like,
in a circle.
But like I can watch like Indy racing and stuff like that. But drifting sounds interesting as well. I don't know. It might also be a reason I haven't finished all the Fast and Furious movies. Cars have just never been my thing. Except Drive is one of my favorite movies though too, and Rush. I don't know if you've seen that.
I haven't seen Rush yet. That's one that's on my list.
Underrated. I love that movie. But for my story time, so this is, of course, a story that happened with me and Tyler, as most stories do. And so me and Tyler, this was my senior year.
Who is
Tyler?
Tyler?
Tyler's my best friend. He's my best friend, my roommate, life mate. We've been best friends for
He's the one who inspired the podcast.
Huh?
He was the one that inspired the show.
Essentially, yes.
Suggested, I should say.
He suggested, he kind of suggested it, and then me and him do our side one, the Deezus Take Money show. And that's where we just kind of recap our friendship, because we've been friends throughout high school and stuff. So we have lots of stories.
Great.
But this one, we were back in high school, and we were dropping a friend off. And we both drove, because I think I like met up with them like after work or something, because usually we always drive together. But we were driving separately, so we drop a friend off. I'm in front, Tyler's driving behind me. It's like 2 or 3 in the morning, and Tyler's a crazy ass driver. Like we say that he drives like Jason Statham in The Transporter.
Okay.
Like Tyler literally drives like he's shooting a stunt scene at like all times.
All right.
Always. And so he's behind me, and we're like on a back road, and it's like we're driving past a neighborhood, and Tyler would go around me, and he'd go back in front of me, and then he'd like go ahead, and then he would like fall back, and then he like would just keep messing with me. He would like go around me to like go through stop signs. I'm just like, stop it right now. So we're flying, and we're going like down the street. So I mean, we're going like 60 down this like 30-mile-an-hour road. And then I see a stop sign coming up, and like just by pure chance out of the corner of my eye, I see a cop car sitting at the neighborhood. And I was like, well, shit. I was like, all right, what do I do? Because Tyler is like flying behind me, so I'm like trying to pump the brakes, like flash my brake lights to be like, there's a stop sign and I have to stop at it, because like he thought I was just gonna go through it. So I was like, no. So I'm like tapping. So it's like I come to like an abrupt stop. He comes to an abrupt stop and like taps the back of my truck, like just a little love tap. But we made the stop sign. Cop sees us, but then we drive away. Of course, the cop pulls up behind me, or he like pulls up between the two of us. So I turn, Tyler's back, and then the cop pulls me over. I'm like, God damn it! So the cop pulls me over. Tyler goes into an abandoned Blockbuster parking lot and just like sits there.
Okay. Yes.
So he's like a block
in darkness.
In darkness. He had like a.
Is he the only one there?
Yes. Like this is 3 a.m.
Okay.
This is 3 a.m, and Tyler used to drive this old. It was like a '77 powder blue like Impala or something.
Okay.
Like it looks sketchy. He's being sketchy. He's in an abandoned parking lot. So the cop pulls me over and he's talking to me. He wasn't gonna like give me a ticket or anything, because technically I did nothing wrong. I stopped at the stop sign, but he's like, oh yeah, and he's like, yeah, be careful, and we're blah blah blah. And I was just like, oh yeah, sorry officer. And then the cop walks away, or the cop starts walking away, and he backs up. And he like taps on my window again, because I was like rolling my window up. He like taps on my window again. I go, yeah. He goes, hey, is that your friend over there being real sketch in that parking lot? And I like look over and I'm just like, yeah. And then he was just like, yeah, just tell him next time to just keep going. He's like, I almost called another cop over to be like, what is going on in this parking lot? And I was just like, like me and Tyler had like 3 funny like driving stories like within a month of each other, and that's one of them. Just like, stop being like. So yeah, if your friend gets pulled over, don't be sketchy in the parking lot, or else you might get another cop pulled called on you. And
especially if you're the only car in a parking lot.
Yeah, this is literally 3 a.m. dead of night, and just being real sketchy. Just being real sketchy. So
that's funny.
It's always a good time with me and Tyler. So if you guys aren't listening to D's and T Money show you, that is pretty much all stories like this, but weirder. Like we get weird and gross on that show. It's a good time. Yeah. But speaking of shows, that is the end of this one. That is it. We went through it. We talked some good movies. We got a little bit into the mythos of the Cars world, because that always happens. And you've obviously been somebody I've been wanting to get on the podcast for a long time. So thank you very much for coming on.
Thank you for coming out here.
Yeah. No, it's been fun, kind of hitting the pavement and just being out and about, and people are like, "What's in your bag?" I'm like, "My entire podcast is in my bag right now." Yeah, so it was a good time, and I appreciate it. You've definitely been somebody I've always looked up to, so I very much appreciate it. Where can the good people find you?
The good people can find me in a variety of places. I'm on Twitter almost all the time, which is frustrating. I need to just stop. At Miss Movies. You can also find my whole entire network on missmovies.net. So there you can just find everything. I have a little blog that I need to continue to write on. And I have, links to all of my shows, which is my YouTube channel, all of that. You can find it there.
Yeah, guys, make sure you guys get on that. They do some good stuff over on your YouTube channel. I love Film Therapy, like I said. It is one of my, because there's not a lot of shows on the internet like it, and I absolutely love it. It's a good time. You. And I saw like a tweet of yours. You were saying like you were sitting somewhere and then you were talking to her randomly and became her therapist. I'm like, And I was like, see, it's all that practice on YouTube you've been doing.
I know. I'm now certified.
Hey, I've been a bartender for years, so it's like I've always been everybody's therapist.
Yes, you get all the stories.
That's for a whole nother podcast. Like I could do a whole nother podcast about my serving and bartending chronicles, but. Yeah, but of course, guys, make sure you guys find her on all those things. And as always, you can find me on Twitter at Deezus12. That's where I also tweet way too much. I love Twitter so much. It's like my virtual diary is what I call it.
I like that.
Have you ever like gone back through your old tweets?
I have.
Like you can get an entire archive of your tweets.
I probably should never do that.
I don't want to, but I'm always so curious about it. But because Twitter,
yes.
I've been tweeting way too much for a long time. So definitely check me out there, because that's also where I post my reviews and articles for geeksandgamers.com. So make sure you guys go check those out. And you can find me hosting on Core Temp Arts Podcast Network for TV8 My Brain and a couple of other things over there. So make sure you guys are checking that out as well. But until next time, peace out, motherfuckers. Thank you so much for listening to Deezus Take the Reel, the dopest movie talk show on the internet. You can find me every Tuesday on iTunes, Stitcher, Spreaker, Google Play Music, pretty much anywhere you can find podcasts. If you like what you're listening to, write a 5-star iTunes review, and I'll read it on the D's and T Money Show, which is every other Friday. And of course, spread this with ya homies. Last but not least, stay till the end for a little pre-recording something. Peace out, motherfuckers. Since I was just recording with Stacy, how'd you guys meet? I didn't get that story. How'd you guys meet?
Basically, I was the first female writer for Schmoes Know. And then I decided I was not going to write with them anymore because they were starting to write movie news rather than just articles. And I didn't have time to sit at my computer and breastfeed my son and be worried about what news was coming in during the day and trying to get all that out there. So I just said, you know what? I think I'm done writing. Thank you. This has been fun. And then once I left, they hired her on shortly after. And then I started following her on Twitter. And then I don't know how long after, but sent her a message to be like, hey, you write for them. I used to write for them. We like movies. We should be friends. And that was pretty much it.
That's usually how it starts.
That's
usually how it starts. So how long have you guys known each other? Not super long then.
Let's see. That was in 2013, I would think. Yeah.
I got you.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, in LA terms, 4 years is still a very long time for friendship.
Yeah.
That's what I hear, at least.
It can be.